subject matter, risk management. I know most of traders these days. Sorry, my form of introduction. My name is Olayinka, a fellow trader like you people. And then I believe this is the third day for this camp, and I know that a lot of content has been dished out to we traders. So this is just a continuity. And I want you also to know that risk management is one of the critical or major aspects of forex trading. And I often notice that lots of forex traders don't actually take it serious, or probably the way they understood it. Sometimes the way I feel is quite different. They just take it as a mere topic or a mere subject that is not that important. A lot of people are focusing on strategy. What we do these days majorly is we focus more on strategy. Today I'm trying to let us know that there are three main cardinal points to forex trading. The first one is hold on. The first cardinal point is we have the strategy. Sorry. We have the strategy.
If you can make the lettering big, it will be better, so that and just increase the font size so that we can. Yeah, I think it's better.
We have the strategy. We have the psychology aspect. The psychology aspect. Actually, the risk management comes second. And we have the psychology aspect. So for any forex trader, you should know that these three areas are the core areas in forex trading, and that we must take serious if we are to succeed as a forex trader. You have to take these three aspects serious. So what we have been dealing with in the past 2 days is basically the strategy. When we talk about market structure, when you talk about the inducements, we talk about liquidity grabbing, higher time frame selection, lower time frame entry. Those are strategic approach to the market. Those are strategic approach to the market. So the risk management, which is, and if you look from all traders all over the world, what most people say, what it is that strategy actually is around 5% in forex trading. If you don't know today, you should know. Strategy in forex trading is around 5% of this in the three areas. Strategy takes just 5%, just 5%. While risk management is around 35 to 40%, and psychology takes the larger bulk of it. So, which is telling you that if you can have a good strategy, you can have a good strategy and not be successful as a trader. I don't know if you guys are getting what I'm trying to say. You can have a good strategy and not be successful as a trader. Why? Because if you have a poor risk management and a bad psychology, you will never succeed as a trader. There's no way. And a novice who understands risk management, who knows how to manage their money, who knows how to manage their investment, who has a good psychology, knows when it is right to leave the market and when it is right to come in. Such people, sometimes you just feel you have a good approach to the market, you have a good strategy, but you will see them, they will just come in and they are contented with whatever they have. You see them doing better than you, that you think you have this strategy, you have a lot of strategies. You have strategy A, strategy B, strategy C. So, and that's why we have to take our risk management important. So to go into the matter, I personally divide risk management into 3 areas, which is, let me delete this. So risk management, I divided it into 3 areas that I always take, that I always recognize. The first one is our human management. You'll be wondering, what do I mean by human management? This is probably is going to be new to a lot of us, and I will try to make this class very short. Human management. The second part, I will call it the forest business management. The third part, I will call it the human risk management. So we'll be using the word risk. The human risk management, the human factor in forex trading. Then the forex business risk management. Then the forex trade itself, the trade we are taking, risk management. So this is how I personally divide risk management in forex. You might choose to disagree with me, but this is how I look at it. So I'm going to talk briefly on the human risk management. I know we are more interested in the forex, in the trade risk management itself. Most of us, we overlook the human part. We overlook the business part sometimes. So let me just briefly talk about the human risk management. I hope I'm not talking to myself just alone. If you are hearing me and I'm making a little bit of sense to you, can you drop some 111 in the chat box? I want to know so that I will know I'm not talking to myself just alone. All right. Okay. So the human risk management factor in forex trading. What do I mean? A lot of us, we don't kind of seems to know when, to probably take rest, to relax, to leave the system. Some of us, we stay on the system 24 hours a day, 7 times in a week, trying to find one way or the other. I'm telling you, health-wise, that is where the human risk management comes into play. Health-wise, we are killing ourselves. A lot of people don't talk about this. You open your eyes to the system 24 hours, 7 days. You are actually affecting your eyes. Now, you might not feel it because most of us, we are very young. We have this energy and we think we are immortal. We are strong. Nothing can happen to our system. I'm telling you that we are actually affecting ourselves gradually. We need to take a rest. Now, one of the solutions to this is I'm employing all of us to get a eyeglass. If you know you are going to be staying on the system for a very long time, studying the chart, reading this on the screen, because it directly affects our eyes. Go and look at most of the professional traders. Look at them. Just look at them. If you happen to watch YouTube a lot, look at most of these professional traders. You see that they use glasses. They don't just use that glasses for fashion. It's because it was affecting their eyes, their sight. So for us to avoid this, this is a solution to the human part, which is a risk to us, our health. For us to avoid this, please, I'm employing us to get blue light reflection. Is it blue light reflection or deflector? This blue light ray sunglass glass.
Yes, sir.
We should try and get it. This is just to prevent our eyes from prevent us from damaging our sight. I hope I'm making sense to you people. Then the other part is, we sit down a lot. We just sit down. Probably we sit in a place throughout the day, no exercise, no anything. This affects our body system. So we should just try and make sure that we minimize it. So when we go into the forex business management and the forex trade risk management, we will begin to see how we are going to mitigate all this enormous number of time we spend on the screen. So that is about the human risk management. So let's go back into the business risk management. I'm not on my system. I've actually made some salient points on my system, but since my system is off, I will just go with the flow like this. The forex business risk management, which is where we are going into the forex aspect majorly. You know, every business goal is to make profit, right? Any business, any investor or any businessman wants to make profit. That's the goal. So likewise in forex business, you wanted to make profit. Nobody comes in to come and make any loss. So therefore, we need to ask ourselves some questions when we come into forex. Why are we coming into this forex business? That we need to start asking ourselves all these questions, because we need to define the objective, the reason why we are coming into forex. If you don't have the definition, objective of why we are coming to forex, we might be in forex and just be playing around. Now, how do we now define our objective? Now, for example, the first question that we need to ask ourselves, I'm talking about the number 2 now. Questions we need to ask ourselves. So the number 1 questions we need to ask ourselves is, why am I even coming into this forex business? I know a lot of people will have a lot of reasons. Most of us will say just want to make money, but why do you want to make this money? You must have a scope. You must have a vision scope as to why you are coming into forex. If you don't have it, I'm telling you, you are just playing around. And why is it important? Is it important for you to ask yourself this question? 1, it makes you to plan. It gives you room to plan how even this your trading journey is going to be. So what are the questions you need to ask yourself? For example, now maybe let's say, for example, I'm coming into the forex business because I don't have any other job. I'm a graduate, I have no job. I've been looking for a job, there's no job anywhere. So therefore, I want this forex business to be a kind of a job for me where I'll be earning salary. So your aim now coming into forex business is to what? To make your monthly income. That's an example. Your aim is to what? Make a monthly income. So when you now define this purpose, like this is the reason why I'm coming into forex, I want to make my monthly income. That will be the number 1 objective. I'm coming into forex to make monthly income. Some people will say, okay, I have a job, I just want to make a side business. Okay, you want to make a side income. For what purpose? Maybe, okay, I want to buy a car. That will be the purpose why you are coming into forex. I'm coming into forex so that I want to generate income to be able to what? Buy a car for myself. Then, now, when you have now defined your reason of coming into forex, you now monetize these purposes. Okay, in a month, since I want to be earning a salary, since I don't have a job anywhere, I want to be earning salary. As a graduate that you are, if you happen to work into any company in Nigeria, you have to look at yourself. Okay, what is likely that I'm going to be paid? As someone that is looking for a job, what is it likely that they will pay me? You have to be realistic and be factual. You don't have to take it like too bogus or too big. You have to be realistic so that it will make your life in forex trading very easy. So let's say, for example, now I'm taking it as a job opportunity that will be earning salary. So I might just say, okay, I want to be paid 200,000 naira monthly. I hope I'm communicating with us. First question, why am I coming into Forex. So once you are able to answer yourself, all these things will enable you to, make your journal. These are the things that you ask yourself in the process of trying to make your trading journal, your trade plan. These are the questions. That's why they say people, you have to make your trading journal, make your trade plan. This is how you go about it. So just yourself, why am I coming into Forex? Once you're able to define that, then you monetize that purpose. Okay, because I'm looking for a job and I want Forex to pay me 200,000 naira monthly. So that is the amount you are looking for in a month. I'm using this as an example to define our Forex business risk management. So in a month, I'm expecting 200,000 naira. So already now you know that, okay, in a month, you are expecting 200,000 naira from Forex. Now, you now tell yourself, okay, in a week, how many weeks do we have in a month? We have 4 weeks. Then you break that 200,000 naira to what? Into 4 places, right? Hello, am I talking to people?
Yeah, they are muted.
Okay, so you break the 200,000 into 4 places. That means in a week, you are anticipating to earn what? 50,000 naira. So we have how many days in a week? We have for currency trader, we have 5 days in a week. For synthetic trader, we have 7 days in a week. So I will just flow with the 5 days in a week currency trader. So for people that want to trade 7 days, they can go ahead and do that. So in a week, we have 7 days in a week, but we are flowing with 5 days. So this 50K, realistically, you have to ask yourself, how many days do you want to trade in a week? Now, this is you are still planning your business. You are in the planning phase of your business. So how many days do we have in a week? We have 7 days. Okay. So how many days in the week do you want to trade? Do you want to trade? 5 days. I'm cutting it to 5 days. Do you want to trade the whole 5 days in a week? If the answer is yes, that means you are anticipating 10,000 naira per day. If no, if you want to just trade 3 times in a week, that means you are dividing 50,000 divided by 3. So let's say daily equals to, for example, you are taking you are taking 3 days in a week. That will be, can someone tell me how much that will be? So that will be 16,600. I'm
All right.
quoting. I'm
Just drop
quoting.
the answer in the
Okay.
Telegram group.
All right. So I'm quoting this in naira. So you can I know we have some of us that we are not from Nigeria. Sorry, please. I'm quoting these figures in naira. We can decide to quote it in dollar. When I mean 200,000 naira presently in Nigeria now, we are talking about $200. So when I say 50,000 naira, we are talking about $50. So when I say 16,600, you can just keep breaking it down like that. So I'm sorry because I'm in Nigeria and that's what I spend. So we spend in naira. Sorry, I'm quoting in naira. So our daily expectation is 16,600. Now, can you see how I'm breaking this down? This is my business goal. This is what I want to achieve on a daily basis without stressing myself. Is it achievable or not? Can we answer it in the chat box? Is this achievable or
It's
not?
achievable. Yes, sir. It's achievable.
All right. So, and you can see that we can do this realistically, like without stressing ourselves. So if I come into trade, and I just aim to get 16,600 on a daily basis to accumulate to 200,000 at the end of the month, will I now be stressing myself to cause human risk management for myself? No, because once I make 16,600 that day, I'm settled. The business goal has been achieved. So now, the other thing is, fine, you now know that you are to earn 16,600 naira daily. Now, how much is your investment? So, some of us, we have this over expectation of our input in this business. You can't have $100 and be expecting to make $1,000 all of a sudden. That means you are planning to gamble. And that is not the sole aim of why we are even teaching or having this mentorship or all of this. That's not the sole aim. We don't want you to come into this business and come and gamble. I'm telling you, the brokers, all these brokerage firms that you see, they are not expecting you to make money. If you think there's all these brokerage firms that have been set up, they are set up so that you can make money, it's a big fat lie. They are not setting it up to make money. They are actually setting it up so that they can collect the money you're bringing. So you have to be smart. That is why you have to define your reason of coming into the business. You must see Forex as a business and not just something to come and play around. If you don't treat it as a business, the thing will treat you as what you are, as a gambler. So now, we now have to ask ourselves, how much am I investing? It is what you are now investing that you will juxtapose to what you are trying to earn. Is it reasonable? Is it realistic? So if I come into this business with $100, for example, which is 100,000 naira, is it realistic for me to make 16,600 naira on a daily basis on my investment? That is, I'm asking for 16%. So you need to start asking yourself, is that not going to be too much? So these are the questions we need to ask ourselves. And so before we now go into what we call the Forex risk management, the Forex trade risk management, I'm trying to, so that I will not extend this time up to 10 p.m. because some of us are tired. So I will try to make this brief. So before we now go into the Forex risk management, so you can see the background, the way I'm coming from the human management to the Forex business management, how we have to take this Forex as business before we go into the Forex trade management itself. What other thing? I'm just trying to remember some of these salient points I've jotted earlier on my other system. Okay. So the other part, which is the final part, where we have to manage our trade. Now, and that part is where we talk about how to calculate our lot size. I know MT5 has made life easier for us now, unlike before, but still yet it's still good if we have a very good understanding of how this is done. How to calculate our lot size, then managing the trade itself. Managing trade itself. Okay, so I'm trying to remember some of these points that I've actually placed together before. So before I, let me see. Okay. Okay. So I don't know. Before I go ahead, do we have any questions as regard the forest business risk management on itself? Why I asked us to monetize our objective and then quantify it in terms of number of days and how we are going to be generating whatever proceeds we'll be getting from the forex market. I don't know if I'm making sense to you. If I'm making sense to you, you should drop one in the chat box, and if not, you should kind of ask me some questions now before I proceed forward.
Please, guys, drop your question. If you have question from what you have said, thought so far, go ahead. And if not, then
Okay,
so you can
since
make
there's no
progress.
since there's no questions, so we'll be coming to uh how to calculate, or let's talk about the managing of the trade before we calculate it, the management of the trade. Some of us, some people, they don't know when to exit the market, or let me say, based on your strategy, some people will just take trade, and when they take that trade, and the trade got to the actual point they have analyzed, and the trade got to probably the actual TP they have analyzed, and they suddenly say, okay, I want to let me leave this trade. I don't know, probably it might go higher. That is recipe for disaster. Why? Because the trade has gotten to where you envisage, where you can possibly see. The trade has gotten to that place. So any reason that made you to allow the trade to continue from that place henceforth, you are gambling, because if you could have analyzed that the trades will go further, you would have actually done that earlier on. So for you not to have done that in the earlier time when you are making your analysis, you are actually gambling. You are gambling. So once trade hits your TP positions that you have analyzed, you are supposed to exit that market and go and rest and look for other opportunity. All these things helps our psychology, because when you make a win, you are happy you make a win. But when you place a trade and you decide not to take your profit when it got to the place you analyze, and that trade turns back and eats you out, what it is doing to you is that it is damaging your psychology. And that is what you actually don't need in Forex. Because the more your psychology is being damaged, the more you will be earning more losses. So you do not want your psychology to be damaged. So once trade gets to your target point, you want to exit. For me, I want to exit. I don't want to, be thinking, oh, maybe it is going to be affecting your psychology. Go and look for the next thing. So therefore, some people, they prefer trading one to one. There's what we call risk to reward ratio. I know most of us, we understood that. That is what we are putting into the business and what we are expecting from the business. That's what we call the risk to reward ratio. A lot of us understood it. I know we are not newbies, but I still have to say it. So some people trade and they just say one-to-one risk to reward ratio. For example, okay, sorry. Okay. Okay, sorry. I'm trying to take this question. Someone is coming in with a question. Person said, if we are having a bad trading day, multiple losses, the target is 200K for the month. From your earlier example, what is the maximum amount of money we should be willing to lose each day. I'm coming to that. That's where I'm going into. Um, okay, I'm going to ask. I'm going to answer that straightforward. So, based on your question, based on your question, this is where, in fact, that is why I know I did not really corroborate that business management enough for you guys to, because I'm trying to keep to time. Then you make this objective as to how what you want to achieve in forex business. When you make this objective, this is just to serve as guidance as to why you are coming into this forex business and what are your expectations, like the things you are looking ahead to, not that you are just coming into forex just come and make money anyhow. You are looking forward to something that you want to achieve. That is the purpose, and that is the purpose of uh, developing what we call this trade journal. Uh, you know, putting this, analyzing this objective. That is the purpose, so that you can have a focus, you can have a reason as to why you are doing this business. So it will guide you not just to misbehave and not just to do, to just pull the trigger anytime you wish. So when you're having a bad trade, for example, so like I said, in that business management part, where I said, okay, weekly you anticipate for example, 50,000 naira, and in a week I said you are trading for 3 days. Now, in that day, on the daily basis, your expectation is 16,300. There's a possibility that you go into your first trade of the day and make a loss. There's every possibility. Yeah, one of the things I jotted earlier on, I'm remembering now. So now, there are some times you make analysis. You make analysis of your trade, and then the trade hits stop loss. See, until the day that you hit a stop loss and you know that it is nothing, it is until that day that you are now becoming a genuine forex trader. Why? Whatever strategy you are trying to employ in forex, you must have back tested them. And I'm telling you, no strategy will give you 100% result. They will give you losses. You have maybe losing streak like 2, 3, 4, 5 losing streak, and you have winning streak maybe probably 2. That is where our forex risk management comes into play. So, for example, now you must have a model. You must design a model. That's part of the business management. So, for example, now let's say there are some people, for example, I'm going back to the business management based on that question. The question just reminded me of something I wanted to say earlier on. Let me pick these two. Hold on. Like I said, this is not my system. I'm just trying to. So. I'm trying to find this part, this info part. Okay. Okay. For example, some people's model is probably they are trading higher high, higher low, higher high, then have this as maybe an inducement. Oh no, where did I go? Can someone remind me of that? I can't even remember that place. Anyway, let's continue from here. I can't even remember that place. Okay. 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 So some people will, maybe their model is trading higher high, higher low, higher high. Then they have probably inducement. Like say that is inducement. For example, I'm just citing an example. Say inducement. Then anytime they have an inducement, they probably want to take trade in this place. So that when price comes down here, such that when price moves up and comes down here, they want to take trade from here. So you must have that model, as in your direct approach. You must have that this is the approach I want to be taking. That whenever I see this kind of formation, I want to trade it. So that is model for you. You might probably have maybe three models, maybe one or two, three models that you want to trade, and you don't want to look at any other thing that anybody is trading again. You do not want to look at it. Now, how do you now ascertain that this is the model you want to trade, you want to be using? It is as a result of you backtesting it. When you backtest it, probably maybe like this is January now, maybe January, February last year, you backtested this model and you see the number of times this model works out and see the number of times it loses. And you are comfortable that, okay, I want to be taking this model, that maybe it is 60% win rate when you backtested it. So that does not mean that you are not going to have a loss. You will definitely have a loss. So, and it doesn't mean that you are not a good trader. And that does not now mean that because you have had a loss, you now have to start looking for maybe another strategy. No, because your strategy will definitely fail at a point in time. It will fail, and it doesn't mean you are a bad trader. It will fail. But because you know that that model is going to work, it works 60% out of 100%. That is why you are trading it. And that is why you are sticking to it. So you must be conversant with your model. You must stay on that model. There was somebody in this group. I just suspected that person probably. I had a chat with the person because I felt the person is trying to change his model. And I know that that model that he's trading is giving him a lot of win rate. So I told him that you don't have to change. I felt that you want to change your strategy. You don't have to change it because you're having win rate. So you have to. You just need to stick. You just need to stick to that model. So you have to define your model. It's part of, that's why they say you have to create your journal, in that your journal creation, which is your business management part, you have to create the model you want to be trading in Forex. You can't be trading A, B, C, D, E, up to Z. No. You must define that model. So some people will trade like this. Some people will say, oh no, they want to trade support. Some people will say they want to trade support and resistance. Some people will want to trade support and resistance, something like this. They will say once price is moving up to this place, towards this place, and price is coming back to this place, they want to trade it. If it is working for them and they have backtested it, from here they want to come in. They must have had their rules. From here, let's say they want to come in from here and have their targets here. Let's say that's what they are trading. With their rule, you must have set your rule. And it is working for you over time. You don't have to change that model. It will have a time it's going to fail. It doesn't mean that model is no longer working for you. Just that it is experiencing its downtime. And you know that this market is subject to manipulation. So you should always have that at the back of your mind. But the number of times that you are going to have a winning result is what that matters, not your losing time. So in a week, if you have possibly maybe 2-3 losses, it doesn't mean you're not going to have you will not come out winning profitable. No. So to that question, back to that question, as to if we are having a bad trading day, multiple losses, the target is 200K for the month. From your earlier example, what is the maximum amount of money we should be willing to? Now, it is now the question you are asking yourself. Okay, I want to have a profit in a day of 16,200 from my 200,000 naira, which is already 16%. One, you need to be realistic with that amount of money. You're having investment of 100,000 naira. So it has to do with your capital. And in Forex, we have been told generally that whenever you're making a risk, you should risk between 1% and 3% of your what? Equity. So if 1% of 100,000 naira is how much? Is 1,000 naira. So before you make 16,000 naira of 1,000 naira, probably it means you are buying, for example, let's say I want to, this is my entry from here. I entered from this place. It means I'm buying this position, for example, for 1,000 naira. So for me to make 16,000, it means I have to have what? 16 hours. Now you have to ask yourself, is it realistic? You need to ask yourself, is this realistic? If it is not realistic, you will cut your quotes according to what? Your capital investment. Now, so if I am now going into trade, the first trade of the day I make a loss. So maybe in my plan, I said I'm not going to take more than 2 trades in a day. Because anything that makes me take more than 2 trades in a day, I'll become aggressive. You have to know yourself. So if I take the first trade, I have a loss. The second trade, I have a loss. The day is over. You should be able to decide that for yourself, that the day is over. If you cannot decide that for yourself, then you are now gambling. You are trying to revenge the market. And the moment you start doing that, the market will tell its toes on you. It will take it on you that you start losing. So just go and rest and prepare for the other day. Now, else that we are planning to trade 3 times in a day and you have made a loss the first day, right? You should now know that maybe you are going 4 days in a week. We are assuming you are taking 1 trade per day. Let's say the first trade of the day, you had a loss and you decide not to trade that day again. Probably you are starting the next day. Now, your first trade that you have taken, which is 100, which is 16,000 naira, right? Now, you now took the second trade. Now, you took the second trade. Let's say you are going from 1 to 3, for example. So let me take this as example. So let's say the first trade of the day that you took is this one. So let's say this is the first trade of the day that you took, right? So this is the first trade of the day that you took, and it's the 16,000 naira. Let's say, no, that's not 16,000 naira because your target is 16,000 naira. So it probably means that you want to achieve a 1 to 3, right? So 16,000, let's say you are trading, your risk management to reward is 1 to 3. So that means you are probably risking 5,000 naira per trade. For example, let's say 5,000 naira per trade. So that is your risk for this trade. And you wanted to earn, say, 15,000 naira, for example. Now you had a loss, right? You had a loss. You did the second one. Another 5,000 naira, right? You had a loss, right? So assuming this is the 2 trade you have actually decided that you take per day, and you have had a loss, that is, you have lost 10,000 naira from your equity. Is that not so? Now, the next day, you might possibly be having losing streak, but we are not going to say you'll be having losing streak continuously like that. So let's say the next day, you actually place the next trade, for example, like this, 5,000 naira. Now, this is this type of trade and constant investment. I mean, constant amount of trade. There are some people that do it like that. Some people, they base it on the amount of equity, probably 1% of their equity. They take risk 1% of their equity, or probably 2% or 3%, depending on your equity. I'm just citing an example using this constant figure. So let's say you take the third trade, 5,000 naira, and you realize your 16,000. Your 15,000, which is 1 to 3. Now, what has happened? You have actually recovered. You have recovered the 10,000 naira, and you are now with a profit. This is the third. This is second day. You are taking 2 trades in a day, so you have realized 15,000. Mind you have lost 10,000. So now your P&L is 5,000 naira. You have gained 5,000 naira. You have gained 5,000 naira by so doing. So from your model, you must have designed that, okay, any trade that is not going to give you 1 to 3, you will not be taking it. Any trade that is not going to be giving you 1 to 3 or 1 to 2, because for example, now if you are taking trade on 1-to-1 basis, now you had 2 drawdown of 10,000 naira. Now, if it is constant on 1-to-1, you now have a winning rate. You just have 5,000 naira. So for you to come out of your drawdown will take a longer time. Unlike someone that is on a 1 to 3 risk to reward or 1 to 2 risk to reward. I don't know if I'm making sense to you. Please drop one in the chat box. So the for you to come out of drawdown when you are taking a one, that's why it is most people will say they don't advise people taking trade on 1-to-1 risk to reward, because once you eat the first drawdown, you eat the second drawdown. Now you want to come back, you want to balance your equity. So for you to now start taking trade on 1-to-1 again, it will take a longer time to come out of your drawdown. If you are doing it on 1-to-2, it will take you probably 2 times. But if you are taking it on 1-to-3, by the time you take the first 1-to-3 trade and it comes into profit, you will have cleared 1-to-2 drawdown that you have already had. You would have cleared that 1-to-2 drawdown, so that when you take your next trade, so what you need to focus on, based on that question, what you need to focus on is your result at the end of the month. Your P&L at the end of the month, not your immediate loss, not your losing streak. The end goal is what you want to focus on, because that is your driving force, not your first loss, not your second loss. So, and you have to stick to the rule. When you stick to the rule, you discover that you come out of that trade. If you are doing, if after you have done your back testing and you know what that your strategy can give you, just stick to the rule. You discover that you still come out profitable. It is when we now start we are trying to fine tune that strategy, or we are trying to look for another strategy. That is when we stay in that drawdown and not coming out of it. So, that is managing the trade. So, like I said, when you go into trade, make sure probably you are doing a 1-to-3 risk to reward, and then be consistent with your methodology. That is very important. Being consistent with your methodology, and then be determined on the risk reward that you want to achieve, not just leaving your trade to the open and not knowing where you want to get out of the trade. So, number one thing, know the RRR you have to be consistent with your RRR. It's very important. And don't go into trade, maybe probably half time of the trade, and you start worrying as to probably maybe you want to close this trade, or you want to, once you have entered that trade, either losing that trade or winning that trade. Since you have analyzed that trade and you are confident in taking that trade, just allow that trade to play out. Just allow that trade to play out. Even if it's coming, sometimes trade is very funny that it will almost come to your stop loss and you think it's going out, then probably you exit the trade and you just go out of that trade just at the end of the day. It's because you are allowing it to play with your emotion. Once you have analyzed the trade and you are determined that you are taking this trade, allow that trade to run. Whatever makes you to press enter, it means you have accepted that risk. Allow it to run. The moment you are so now how to calculate loss size. I will just, because of the time, we are approaching 10 p.m. So let's go to how to calculate lot size. I know we know how to do that, but just for some people that don't know how to, and especially what MT5 has given us these days, they have actually helped us to know how to, once you place your trade, once you put that, there's this at that upper left, right side of your MT5, there's this ball icon there that once you click it, if you probably want to set limits, it is going to show some figure and then the point, and you'll be able to know the amount of this thing that amount of money that you want to put into the trade. But then there's a way to it. Now, how to calculate lot size for each of your trade. Number one, lot size, the way I always do it, I always say is equals to this system. This system comes with Arabic figure. Lot size equals to the amount we are trying to risk, either in dollar or in naira. The amount we are trying to risk divided by our SL in pip or point, whatever it is, multiplied by sorry, this system I'm using is in Arabic, so I'm trying to find okay.
Serious case.
So I'm just doing a lot on the system. The amount you want to risk amount divided by stop loss in pip multiplied by our dollar value. Dollar value per pip or point, whatever it is. So this is the general formula for calculating lot size. Risk amount divided by SL in pip times dollar value per pip. Now, you now begin to ask yourself, okay, this risk amount is something that you know yourself. That's the amount of money you are willing to risk. That's the amount of money you're willing to risk. Why our SL already is something that we know. SL in pip or point, in whichever case. That one you determine that one is determined from the chart analysis. That one is determined from the chart analysis. So it's there that you know that, okay, this is the number of points or people I'm trying to risk. I think we have some newbies that are joining the group, so this will be valuable to them. I know for the experienced one, you already know how to go about this. Then the dollar value per pip. Some people that trade indices, synthetic indices, in currency, they actually have problem with calculating their dollar value per pip when it comes to this, because every broker they have different dollar value per pip, and this is because of their contract size. Every broker have different contracts, so that is why it is always different from each. The dollar value per pip is different for each broker, apart from the normal currency, our USD, JPY, that is $100,000 for a standard lot. Every other indices is different. So, based on the formula, how do you now get this dollar value per pip is what makes this formula difficult. How do we get it? Let me see if I can. I do not have access to. Let me see MT5. Let me see if I can come up with an MT5 on this system. Like I said, this is not my system. Can you see the MT5? Can you see the MT5?
No, not yet. Not yet. You can only see the screen, the laptop trading here. Let's see.
Okay. Should be able to see it now. Can we see the MT5 now?
Yeah, coming up. Yeah, you can see it.
All right. So if you look at this place, okay, let me go back to how I got to that place. So this is our watch list. Both synthetic, the derivative synthetic, and currency is the same approach. So this is USD, Euro USD. If you look at, so I will click on the specification, then it comes with, then you have this. On your synthetic, if you open that, same place, you just click on property. Once you click on that asset, right click, or just hold it, then it will pop up this property. You just click on the property. You see where they write probably digits. You see the contract size, then you see whether the spread is floating, whatever. You don't need that. All you need is the digit and the contract size. Now I'm talking about how to calculate our lot size. So, and the contract size. So once you have your contract size, for example, I'm going to work on this now to calculate the dollar value per pip for Euro USD. We all know that it's $10, but how is it then $10? Most of us, you don't know how they arrive at that $10. So likewise, our synthetic and our derivative synthetic, the same approach. It's the same approach that you'll be able to find the dollar value per pip. So now, considering this Euro USD, they're taking an example for Euro USD. So we are taking EU as an example. So let's say, so now we need to calculate.
We can only see the MT5. We can't see the other screen.
Wow.
So if you are typing there, just bear in mind that we can't see it.
Okay, let me. Where's the showing again?
Oh,
It's trading view. Can we see the screen now? I don't know what's wrong with my screen.
we just try and reshare.
It's when you use something that is not your own, you have a lot of trouble. It's refusing to share the screen. Okay. So I'm taking that EU for example. We know so we need to now look for what is we are trying to look for the dollar value per pip, right? So how do we go about that? EU for example. First, we have seen the contract size. We know the contract size is 100,000.
100,000.
Yeah. So the contract size is 100,000. Then we know the digit. The digit is
5.
5 pip. Is 5 rather. So that case, and we know that Euro USD is counted in what 4 decimal places. The 5th digit number is a pipette, which we actually don't actually use. So which means that 1 pip of Euro USD is counted as 0.0001. 1 pip is read like this. Is equals to 0.0001. That is 1 pip. So when we say 1 pip of Euro USD, it is 0.0001 based on that digit, which is 5. So we have that. Now, the next thing we want to go and look for is what is the recent price of Euro USD. The recent price of Euro USD right now is 1.0964. $1.0964. That's the recent price. So 1.0964, that is the recent EU price. So now, to know our dollar value, this is how we go about it. We say the pip, which is the number of pip, we divide it by the present price. Then we multiply it by the contract. Oh my God. By the contract size. I'm just using it as an example. You can use for the people, it's the same thing throughout, even synthetic indices. So I'm just citing you as an example because it's going to be very faster for me. So that is the formula. Then, which is now 0.001 divided by the contracts divided by the present price 1.060964 multiply by 100,000. Can anybody do that calculation for us? Can someone press this or calculator and give us the answer? (0.001) divided by 1. Sorry. Anybody pressing the calculator?
Somebody give us the answer. Guys, don't sleep on it.
I know a lot of we would think it doesn't matter. By the time you get to when you want to trade NAS, when you want to trade DAX, you find this thing I'm saying, man. Though MT5 will help you, but in the case when you just need to, MT5 will only give you the least lot. So you now start pushing up and down. But if you're able to do your calculation one time, so nobody has the answer. Okay.
Somebody said 10.
Said what?
Somebody said 10 in the comment section.
I'm very sure it can't be 10. It's not 10. I know the reason why the person said 10. Actually, that's where we are going to, but it's not 10. That is what, and that's exactly what I want to show. The answer is not 10.
All right, you can be checking the answers in the group. There's so many now.
Yeah, okay. I see 9.1 to 9 points. Actually, the answer is 9.35. The answer is 9.35. Let me not waste our time. The answer is 9.35. That's the answer, and that is euro. Because if you look at your MT5, you see where it is written under in the MT5 in the property where it is written margin currency, profit currency. You see that your margin currency is in euro, not in USD. So, and euro is the base currency. And we want to find the answer in US dollar, and this is in euro. It then means that, okay, it means that, let me put it there. It then means that one pip of euro equals 1 pip of euro USD equals to 9.35 euro. Therefore, 1 euro and 1 euro was equals to 1 point, which is the present price of euro USD, 1.0964. That is 1 euro, 64 USD. 1 euro is 1.0964 USD. This is the base currency. This is the quote currency. So 1 euro is 1.069 1.0964 USD. So therefore 9.350 will be how many USD? I don't know if you are getting what I'm saying. So 9.350 will be times. That means we have 9.350 equals to what? USD. The cross multiplication. Is that not so? So by cross multiplying, that's when you are going to have 10. When you cross multiply it, that's when you have 10. So that's how we arrive at $10 per pip for Euro USD. If you do that for every other asset, if you go to boom and crash, so I'll quickly do boom and crash too, because of most of us that do synthetic. The dollar value per pip for boom and crash, I'm going to look at boom 1000. For example, now if you look at your MT5, if you open the property, you see digit, 4 digit. If you look at the property, you see the digit, 4 digit. The digit is 4 digit, which means that we have what? 0.0001. That is 4 digits. That is your number of points. That's your number of points. That's how that point is counted. Your number of points. That is 1 point in boom and crash is 0.0001. That's 1 point. Now, what does it now mean? We have a contract size of 1. Contract size, which is equals to 1. That's our contract size. The same approach from what we do here. Okay, so what's the current price of boom 1000? The present price is 14,183.3190. If you look at your MT5, you see where they write low and H. The I is where it is the high value that you pick. So the present price is 14,183.3190 because it is what into 4 decimal places. So 14,000 present price I think I'm overstretching this now. Let's cut it out. Okay, current price equals to 14,102 and 14,183.3190. So that's the current price. Now, what is our dollar value per pip? Very simple. Same approach. 0.0001 0.0001. A lot of people will say this is not useful. Divided by 14183.3931331990. Mistake here. So multiply by 1. multiply by 1, which is the contract size. The contract size is 1, which is the contract size. When you find this out, it's going to give you let me see. Can anybody press their phone? 0.0001 divided by 1. Is it 1.4 what? Let me check again. 14183.3141, not 140. 14183. 14183.3190. It gives us 7.050 exponential minus 9. So that's what it gives us. Exponential minus 9. Now, that will now be what? The value in step. The same method we are using under Euro USD. That will now be, it gives us 7.050 exponential minus 9. To find minus on the system, we'll have to. Anyway, exponential minus 9. I can't find the minus on the system. It's Arabic. Exponential minus 9. Okay, let me just leave it at that. Minus 9. Exponential minus 9. So that is the value in boom. By the time you multiply it back with the current price, because you have to, for you to now find the answer in dollar, it will be the same thing as what we have at 0.001. So that's zero. So it will be the same thing. So which means that the dollar value per point in boom and crash is actually 0.0001. That's the dollar value per point. By the time you do you multiply it back with the present price to know the actual value in dollar, it is 0.0001, which is the dollar value per pip. So if you go and check, try and place a trade and say you want to risk $20, for example, or you want to risk $5, divided by your number of stop loss, which is we are trying to calculate the lot size now. Because of time, I've gone outside the time. So let's say you want to risk $5. You check you can do the calculation. You want to risk $5 and you have a stop loss of, say, let's say maybe 2,000 whatever points, because the way MT5 is going to come is not going to give you the way boom and crash it's not going to give you your points in 20 points, or it comes in thousands. So when you find that point in number of thousands it is, maybe, okay, I think the one I have is giving me points now, unlike before. Okay. It's giving me points. Since this one has been done, it has been calculated. Formerly, it was not like that. So it was given, for example, when you now find that point, it gives you the raw point. I think MT5 has been updated. It's good. It's been long I've done this, been on this boom and crash anyway. So you multiply the 0.001 by the number of points in thousands. It will actually give you your lot size. Same thing with the EU, with every other, same process. Is the same process. So this calculation is just for us to find what is the dollar value per pip. Then you now go to what? Insert it into this formula to find your lot size. That is how we go about calculating our lot size. So I think I've exceeded the time. I don't want to go past 10, and we're already past 10. So maybe I've said too much. So if there's any form of question as regards what I've said, so I think I've talked about how to calculate the lot size, and then how do we manage our trade. Like I said, when your trade is probably you have said you have to be consistent with your method. If you are doing 1 to 3, be consistent with your 1 to 3. If you are doing 1 to 5, be consistent with your 1 to 5. Don't do 1 to 3 now. Then the next time you are doing 1 to 20, or next time you are doing 1 to 50, or you have to be consistent so that you want to maintain your peace. You want to maintain your peace so that you can have time to do other things, and that is the whole essence of we doing the business management and the risk and the trade management itself. You want to take your trade, maybe you want to take 2 trades today and you want to go and relax. You want to take 1 trade today, you want to go and relax. Once you eat profit, you relax. You forget about the market. Since your model is consistent, since you are not looking for any other thing, you want to be consistent with the market. And that is what you need. Then you can have time, to do other things. So if there's any form of question, I don't want to go more than this. I've actually been talking more than the time that I'm supposed to. So any form of question, apart from what the other person have asked earlier on?
You have question. This is your time.
Your question might actually remind me of something that I've intended to say. So if you don't ask me question, probably that's how it's going to be. I've actually had a lot to say, but since I'm not using my system, because I've jotted a lot of things and my system is done. Just everything I've been saying, I'm just saying it offhand.
All right. Let me pause the video so that we can take questions. Okay. Mr. Allah, thank you so much. Thank you so much.